Arthouse showroom in Victoria Island, Lagos, has some unusual visitors today. Pictures. That gives you an idea of what our focus is on today's edition of the show. Photography, yes, an art form that speaks louder than words, comes tops on today's edition of Arthouse. A warm welcome. I'm Melinda Akinlami.
Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. The heights that great men reached are not attained by sudden flight, but while their companions slept, they were toiling upward in the night.
Although he studied business administration at the Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, George Osodi discovered that he had a passion for pictures. A very good example is this one, titled Egungun 2, and you'll be seeing several of his images at this exhibition at the Renault Center in Lagos.
Transgression, the title of this solo exhibition, captures the many phases of George Osodi. Built around 6 series he's worked on from 2003 till 2013, the pictures tell the Nigerian story, the good and the bad. Before the show begins, he takes us through this bold collection, which is also a reflection of the highs and lows in his career as a photographer.
When I started photography quite early, I was not matured. I of course had my training and education about photography, but then experience counts and maturity. So there are a few things I didn't know then that I ventured. Probably some came out well, and some didn't look nice, some were ugly. So at that age, you tend to risk a lot because you're much more eager. You want to make a picture, So in my early days photographing, I really took a lot of risk. I would say probably I was naive or I was just being eager about my passion. A lot were involved, a lot of risk and setbacks. I've had so many experiences which are not pleasant. Attack, from the public, from people, from security forces, even from the subjects that you are even trying to approach.
One can connect with the backstory through the series Oil-Rich Niger Delta, which he worked on for many years, with pictures such as Mend showing fierce armed militants, Gas Flaring, which addresses the decay in the environment, and Niger Boy, creating an imagery of restiveness in that region. Certainly not your everyday sort of pictures. The man behind the camera put a lot on the line to take this story to the world.
The Nigerian society is not that very educated about people with camera. Everyone tends to be suspicious of you. I guess probably because quite a lot of people have skeletons in their cupboards. So when they see you with the camera, they assume that you've come to estray, or intrude into their privacy. So it takes time for them to really open up and accept you. You could be on the street photographing a street scene and someone could come from nowhere and just attack you.
The cliché that change is the only constant thing in life is apt here, especially when it's for the better, as it becomes more appealing. This exhibition shows a movement from young and restless days to bold and beautiful images, which has now become his comfort zone.
Change is constant. And sometimes you grow old and you want to experience something new. Quite recently, I discovered I was getting a bit older in age and photography. So I felt it was quite necessary to do a couple of projects that does not really require much risk and photographing fast. So, and also I just wanted to have a new experience from what I am quite used to when I started photography in the early days, and also stay a little bit away from some risk. So that's why I've started doing a few more subtle projects.
Even his tours have changed and reflects this new romance with landscapes and portraiture, a more relaxed forte.
I've always dreamed to photograph with a medium format camera. And since the advent of digital camera, the medium format that's available in the market, a lot of them are very expensive, so I couldn't lay my hands on them way back. But basically, it's a slow camera. It's pure 80% manual. So it means that everything you do, you have to be timely. It's slow, it's not fast. You have to set it up, stay, check your weather, check your lighting, check whatever condition, the temperature of the environment in which you're trying to photograph or whatever you're trying to do. So ideally, the camera on its own slows you down. And then I have a mindset to also slow down. So it means we both complement each other.
Well, the portraiture shows Lagos today. I think it's amazing that you have the mixture of the old with the new. So you've got the old institution of monarchs being translated in a modern way. So you've got these modern homes sitting there in all their regalia, but yet you've got the change where the monarchs now have become 20th century. So you get the mix of both, old and new.
The brain behind this project is Kavita Chalaram, founder and chief executive officer of foremost Nigerian auction house Arthouse Contemporary, and she's only all too familiar with these changing phases in Osodi's photography.
I think it's incredible that each series has been quite different. So when we had the first Delta series, which is in his book, it was all about the aggression that you're mentioning right now. And then after that, he did Delta Series 2, which is all the photography on the landscape. But it is devastating. So, that bit of aggression is there that's showing the effects of what has happened to the vegetation in the Delta because of the oil spillage and, non-respect to the ground. And so you can see actual scenes where there's hardly any vegetation left. So it might actually look very beautiful, but there's a big meaning behind it, which shows the state of the Delta region.
And for her, it's a pleasure to continue to work with someone who has a passion to tell the Nigerian story through very intriguing images.
And one thing about George is that he loves Nigeria. He's passionate about his country. Everything is about heaven and paradise. He has this Calabar series, which we've done a bit on, where he says, "The heaven," showing that, Nigeria is also paradise. And that people, even with what little they have, still have so much.
She also lets us in on the whole idea behind bringing this show here. Not your everyday gallery, but a new way to take the art to the people.
So this way, at least, people are going to come and buy a car and they're going to look around the walls and see the art and say, wow, this looks really nice, and think about taking it home with them as well. So I think it's a great situation where we marry the two.
Especially with photography, which some Nigerians are still grappling with as an acceptable art form.
We have so many photographers that are world-renowned, as is George Osodi. There's another artist in New York, and there are quite a few Nigerian artists who are doing really well in photography. And we've really got to show them and respect that it is an art form and that it has to be appreciated. And the only way we can do that is by making it more visual and getting more people to see it and understand that yes, photography is an art form and it's worth buying and it has value.
born in 1930 in Obiomwe-Mai, a rural village in Owan local government area, Edo State. He worked and lived in Ketu, Nigeria. At the age of 20, he pursued a future in photography, which was out of the ordinary for people in Nigeria, especially those in his village.